than you, because wisdom is emotional intelligence. Realizing that you don't outsmart your boss when you cheat on your working hours, but asking yourself, one day when you become an employer, because now you have attended my program, employee to employer, how do you want your employees to treat you? In simple language, putting yourself in another person's shoes. Refraining from saying things you not want others to say about you. Now, I agree, this is something we all need to work on. We are all work in progress. We are all tempted to say things we don't want others to hear. 100% of us here qualify for this message. You see, Socrates developed a model he called the triple filter test. One morning, one of his students went over to Socrates, the great Greek philosopher, and said, "Do you know what I heard about your friend?" And Socrates said, "Hey, hold your peace, hold your peace. Before you tell me what you heard about my friend, I want us to take it through a triple filter test. And the first test is the test of truth. Do you really think what you're about to tell me is the truth and nothing but the truth? You have verified it, you are double sure what you're going to say is the truth." "Oh no, I just heard about it." Okay, let's take it through the second test. I call it the test of goodness. Do you think what you're about to tell me is something good about my friend? He'll be so proud when he knows you told me about it. You would even repeat in his hearing. "Oh no, that was something not nice about him." "Oh, don't worry, let's take it through the third test. The test of usefulness. Do you think what you're going to tell me is something useful to me? You are double sure it's going to help me. I'll be so excited because I've gotten some fresh, innovative ideas." "Oh, no." Okay, wait a minute. If what you're going to tell me is not true, it is not good, and it's not useful, why tell me in the first place? Keep it to yourself. Let me suggest this. In any situation, try to force a third person perspective. Play the role of an arbiter and take the other side. This way, you identify who the real enemy is. This way, you start analyzing what is right, not who is right. This takes me to the fifth pillar of emotional intelligence. Social intelligence. Social intelligence. There were two brothers who lived side by side peacefully for many years in their dad's inheritance. Unfortunately, they fell out very bitterly. So much that when the elder brother wanted to travel abroad, he looked for a carpenter and he went to buy some materials, construction materials with him. Then he instructed him, "I want you to construct an 8-foot wall between my land and my younger brothers." And the carpenter said, "I think I have well understood the assignment." So the older brother left for a long time abroad. The carpenter, however, decided to do a different assignment altogether. He decided to build a bridge between this guy and his younger brother. He used all the materials to put up a standing structure. On his arrival back, the older brother looked and thought, "Did I communicate right? Am I losing my head? What's going on?" So he walked down the farm and then finally came across this huge, magnificent bridge across the ridge between his farm and his neighbors, his younger brothers. While he was there thinking what may have transpired between me and the carpenter, the younger brother spotted him. And with outstretched arms, he ran and embraced him and told him, "Gentleman, you're such a fellow, you're such a brother. After all the things I did and said about you, you built a bridge between us." Can you be a bridge builder? Taking pain out of painful relationships. Let me tell you this. If you have been a passive observer of people quarreling, tearing each other emotionally, by default, you are a wall builder. And I invite you to a higher ground where you can become a bridge builder. Social intelligence is all about the art of mastering others, how to get along with others. It involves conflict resolution, communication, and building collaborative teams. It is the wisdom upon which empires were founded. It is the wisdom upon which businesses are built. We don't build business, we build people, and then people build business. Every organization that ever exists is premised on this fact: your ability to get along with others, your ability to understand one is too small a number for influence. The very first thing Jesus did in his ministry is to get a team. There are many social skills we can discuss. Tonight I'll only discuss two. One, communication, and two, teamwork. Let's start with communication. I want to discuss 3 gems. I want to mention to you 3 gems of knowledge, nuggets of knowledge on communication. Number 1, matters communication. Number 1, listen to the whole story. Listen to the whole story. Not to interrupt. Don't listen when you're still reflecting so that you know how to give the answer back. Listen with the intention to understand even the context, even the nonverbal cues, the facial expressions. An old man was riding his mule together with his dog down the road when they were accidentally hit by a recklessly driven truck. Several months later, after recuperating from the hospital bed, he decided to go to court to seek for compensation. The defense lawyer, cross-examining him, asked him a very simple question. At the time of the accident, did you or did you not say you are perfectly fine? The old man said, Your Honor, my dog and I were riding my mule down the road. The defense counsel interrupted. I didn't ask you that. I'm asking you a very simple question. A yes or no question. At the time of the accident, did you or did you not say you were perfectly fine? He replied, Your Honor, my dog and I were riding my mule down the road. The defense counsel interrupted again. Do we defer the case? Are you in your right frame? Are you able to say yes or no? At this point, the magistrate intervened and told the defense counsel, don't interrupt him. Now I've given a ruling. Let's hear his story. So he began, Your Honor, my dog and I were riding my mule one day down the road when this fast-driven, recklessly driven truck hit us, throwing us off to the ditch. The truck driver stopped. He came to where we were. When he saw that my dog was badly injured, he got back to the truck, came back with his rifle and shot it dead. Then he went to my mule and realized that the 2 hind legs were already broken. He picked the rifle and shot it dead. Then he came where I was and asked me, How are you doing? I said, I'm perfectly fine. Listen to the whole story. Point number 2. Be conscious of your audience. Be conscious of your audience. I'll be discussing these things to the motivational speakers who will be coming here on the 18th. I'll spend an entire day with them. This work is too much for any one individual. You are less than 1,000 people here. This city has over 4 million people. We need to raise a huge team to influence this city and this country. 18th of November, I'll be teaching you how I prepare my messages. I'll be teaching you about homiletics, the art of public speaking, hermeneutics, how you dress up for this message, how to ensure there is not a single sentence you make that they can ignore, how to select topics. I'll be teaching right in this place. We'll give you lunch and teas, and we'll also give you a chance to present some speeches here and make corrections. And then I'll form a club out of that called Speakers Club, where I'll be following you up. So you need to sign up if you have not done that. Let's go to number 2. Point number 2, be conscious of your audience. Because the message depends on who you're telling, whether it is the tone, whether it is the choice of your words. Who are you speaking to? There was an elderly couple that went to sit in the moonlight. They were enjoying each other's company. As usual, men like appreciating how their wives look like even when they are old. So the old man looked at the wife and said, Sweetheart, in the moonlight, your teeth look just like pearls. She said, who is Paul? And what were you doing with him in the moonlight? And how come she was even showing you her teeth? Be careful with the audience. Communication, point number 3. Number 3, communication. Are you there? Avoid using jargons. Speak in a language that the other party will understand. A jargon is anything the audience does not understand. I read a story of a woman who was a godly person. She wanted to go to a campground to have some quiet time, some me time if you like. So she decided to write a letter to a certain campsite for reservations. But then she was such melancholic, she didn't want to leave any details behind. So she wanted to confirm whether they literally had a toilet facility in the campsite. But she was such an old-fashioned lady, she couldn't come to terms with writing the word toilet. It was too straight for her to write. So she thought of using the old term. Very few of you have ever heard it. It's such an old term, so old you've never heard it. It's called bathroom commode. Bathroom commode. So she decided, I'm not going to ask them about a toilet. That is too straight. I'm going to ask them whether they have a bathroom commode in the campsite facility. But then she thought, this is too straightforward for the godly woman I am. I'm just going to write its abbreviation. I'll not write bathroom commode, I'll write BC. I think that's easier for me. So she literally wrote, kindly confirm whether in the campsite you have any BC. Unfortunately, the facility owner was not old-fashioned and he couldn't decode what that was. He asked all his staff members what BC was and nobody knew. After critical thinking and knowing this is a godly woman, he decided she must be thinking about Baptist church. So he replied, we don't have a BC in the campsite. The nearest is about 9 miles away. I admit that's quite a distance, especially if you frequently go there. Now, the last time I went was 6 years ago. And we went with my wife. And we stood the whole day because it was very crowded. But I think in your interest, it's good for you to know as much as you stay for so long, they allow you to carry food in that BC. And it pains me that I'm not able to go as much as I used to go. You realize with age, you have to be more deliberate, especially during the cold season. Let me also inform you that next week they are going to have a fundraising dinner to raise more seats for the BC. In fact, they are planning the ceremony in the middle of the BC so that everyone can watch it and talk about this great event. Finally, once you come here the first day, I'll be happy to accompany you to the BC and sit with you there the whole day and introduce you to some folks around. We are such a friendly community. End of the letter. Avoid using jargons. Let's go to the second social skill. And my last point tonight. Teamwork. Teamwork. If there is anything that requires serious teamwork, it's climbing Mount Everest. Since the very first successful ascent in 1953 by Sir Edmund Hillary, hundreds of people gather at Nepal or Tibet to dare this stunning mountain of the Himalayan ranges. The top of Mount Everest sits in the higher bands of the troposphere, a section of the atmosphere where winds blow at approximately 175 miles an hour, way above the 156 miles an hour threshold of a Category 5 hurricane. Now, above 7,000 meters above the sea level, the saturation of hemoglobin dramatically plummet. And remember those kind of winds flowing in the jet streams, they call them jet streaks. They race from west to east around the earth, can fatally pummel the climbers. They are extremely fast and wild. So because of the level of oxygen above 7,000 meters above the sea level, what the climbers will do is to make a to and fro progression. For example, they will climb up to 8,000 meters and then go back to sleep at 7,000 meters just for the body to acclimatize. Now, trying to shortcut that process for quick gains, trying to shortcut it to circumvent those to and fro progression leads to a condition they refer to as high altitude cerebral edema, which is brain damage, or worse, high altitude pulmonary edema, which is an illness of the lungs where the lungs get filled with fluids that prevent the transfer of oxygen from inhaled air into red blood cells. If oxygen is not administered to the victim within 6 to 12 hours, they succumb. In fact, since the maiden accident to date, over 290 lives have been lost. Ironically, most of the lives have been lost on the descent, not on the ascent. I think you will remember this. 2 weeks ago, regrettably, there was a Chinese who fell from the cliff of Batian, the highest peak of Kenya. And I need you to note this. He had already peaked. And that's what happens with climbers. He had already reached the top where he wanted to go. And that's why climbers are always warned not to linger too long on that glory land, because they have a very small window to do all that, because the safest window in the Everest is April and May. Granted, in life, we hardly see these dangers that are noticed by climbers. So most of us here try it solitary, without the much needed backing of the team. If you are the natural alpha male like me, I urge you today, buy some wisdom from that old African proverb. If you want to walk fast, walk alone. But if you want to go far, walk with others. Team members are the lifeline of every individual member. Now, to work as a team will require you to be flexible to accommodate different personalities and different emotions. Working together precedes winning together. Emotional intelligence is not the triumph of the heart over the mind, but the unique intersection of both. Emotional intelligence is a lifelong commitment. It's not a destination. There is no arrival point. You don't go to it. You grow through it. You realize your work in progress and you work towards it. Every single day, you become deliberate and conscious and aware about your emotions, and you use them to your decided advantage. Thank you very much, and God bless you.